Hello, my name is Andrew Springelmeyer. I'm going to talk to you today just a little bit about fire extinguishers. The first thing we're going to talk about is the classification system that is used on fire extinguishers. The next thing that we're going to discuss is the rating system on Class A and Class B fire extinguishers. And then the last thing we're going to cover is how to operate a fire extinguisher. So let's take a look at the fire extinguisher that we keep on the engine. This is going to be an ABC extinguisher, and the ABC extinguisher is going to be typical of what you find in most residences and businesses. That means it's capable of putting out a Class A fire, a Class B fire, and a Class C fire. So this particular extinguisher is a dry chemical extinguisher. So an Class A classification extinguisher is going to be used, as you can see by the icon there, to put out fires in trash, wood, paper, plastics, any ordinary combustible material you find around the house. A Class B extinguisher is going to be used to put out flaming liquid fuel fires. So that would be puddles of oil or gasoline or puddles of kerosene. A Class C extinguisher is used to put out energized electrical equipment. That means that it still has power going to it. So once that power is shut off, then it becomes an ordinary combustible fire once again. I don't have an example of a Class D extinguisher or a Class K extinguisher in front of me. But a Class D extinguisher is going to be used to put out fires with reactive metals. So that could be aluminum, calcium, magnesium, potassium, pretty much any metal that ends with And a Class K extinguisher, you're going to find these mostly in commercial kitchens where they use hot oil to cook foods. That Class K extinguisher puts a soapy blanket on top of the oil that's on fire and suppresses the heat and the chemical reaction, excluding oxygen and putting the fire out. We'll talk a little bit about the rating system. So a Class A extinguisher can be anywhere from 1A up to 40A, and that number in front of the A is to symbolize that it has the capability or the equivalent of 1.25 gallons of water for each number in front. So a 1A extinguisher is capable of putting the equivalent of 1.25 gallons. The fire extinguisher that we just looked at there, that's off of the engine, is rated at a 10A. So that has the equivalent of 12.5 gallons of water. Taking a look at Class B extinguishers, those are figured just a little bit different. They are rated at what a novice would be able to put out 40% of a fire. So an expert would be, for each number in front of the 1, or in front of the B, would be equivalent to 1 square foot pan of flaming liquid that a novice could put out. An expert or a professional could put out 2.5 square feet with that. So again, like that extinguisher that we looked at previously, that has a rating of 120B. And so that means that the average person could put out a 120 square foot pan of flaming liquid. And the professional could actually put out 300 square feet of that same flaming liquid with that extinguisher, just because the knowledge they have and the ability with it. The Class B extinguisher can be anywhere from 1B all the way up to 640B. And the last thing we're going to take a look at is how to use a fire extinguisher. So the mnemonic we use is PASS. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So that first step is pull. So you pull the pin. Pull the pin all the way out. The next is aim. So aim this hose exactly where you want it before you squeeze the trigger. That way you're not wasting any of the chemical or water that's in the extinguisher. The third step is squeeze. So squeeze the two handles together. And then the last step is sweep. So while you're still squeezing the handles, sweep back and forth until the fire is extinguished. So recapping that: pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Hopefully you learned something about fire extinguishers today. Thank you.